Be prepared. This is not a regular week. And if you treat it like one, you might miss the moment that changes everything. Something is coming, and it's dressed in silence, calm skies, quiet moods, empty hours. But underneath that stillness, the ground is already shifting. The kind of shift you only recognize when it's too late to turn back. The moon is moving, and not in the soft, poetic way you're used to hearing about. No. This moon is quiet, yes, but it's not calm. It's calculating. It's clearing paths, rewriting timelines, and cutting cords you didn't even realize were tangled around your future. And it starts now, right now. Most people won't feel it, not at first. They'll scroll, they'll sleep, they'll say, everything feels fine, but that's how it works. The universe doesn't always knock. Sometimes it slips in, unnoticed. And when this moon hits on the 27th, it won't ask for permission. It'll reroute your whole direction. Let me be clear, this isn't about fear. This is about focus. The kind of awareness that could save you from falling back into loops that nearly broke you before. The kind of awareness that forces you to ask, what in my life feels quiet, but wrong? Because that's where the signal is. If you've felt distant from people, if plans are falling apart without explanation, if old memories are rising like smoke from a fire you thought you'd put out, that's not a coincidence. That's the warning. That's the universe preparing you for a hard reset. This moon isn't here to grant wishes. It's here to pull you back to your path, even if it has to tear a few things down first. The silence before a transformation isn't peace, it's pressure. Think of this moon like a wave you can't see coming, not because it's weak, but because it's still. It gathers beneath the surface, slow and steady, and when it rises, when it crashes, it doesn't ask if you're ready, it makes you ready. And here's the most dangerous part. The twist it brings won't show up until the end of the month. It'll seem like nothing at first. A small conversation, a dream you almost forget, a shift in someone's energy you can't explain. But when it lands, everything around it will rearrange. Suddenly, what didn't make sense will snap into place. The chapter that wouldn't close will finally slam shut, and the door you thought was locked, it will swing open, but only if you're paying attention. This message isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who feel something already brewing, for the ones who've been pulled into solitude without knowing why, for the ones whose emotions feel heavier this week, whose dreams feel louder, whose hearts feel restless without reason. If that's you, drop the number 77 in the comments to seal your awareness. Like this video, subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to see past the surface, someone who needs to be warned before the shift completes. This isn't just about astrology, it's about survival. This week, the moon is watching who's ready to move and who's still asleep at the wheel. Now that you know, let's dive deeper, because what's coming isn't just a moment. It's a message, and if you can decode it, it will change your entire direction. Chapter 1. The isolation was never random. Some of you have been wondering, why have I been feeling so alone lately? Why have certain people faded from your life? Why did you suddenly lose interest in the things you used to chase? Why did your phone go silent, your social circle shrink, and your emotions start whispering instead of shouting? Here's the truth no one told you. That isolation wasn't random. It was spiritual strategy. It was a quiet intervention. You weren't being abandoned. You were being recalibrated. Think of it like this. When a caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it doesn't socialize. It doesn't network. It doesn't text back. It disappears. Why? Because it's not meant to be seen during the transformation. That silence, that darkness, that's the sacred part. You've been in your own cocoon, and maybe you didn't even know it. This wasn't just a season of loneliness, it was a sacred quarantine. The universe was pulling you away from certain energies, not to punish you, but to protect you. You were being detoxed from noise, disconnection, and distractions. People who no longer aligned with your soul's next chapter began to drift. Not because you weren't enough, but because they weren't meant to go where you're headed next. You may have asked yourself, did I push them away? Did I change too much? But here's what most won't admit. Some connections are removed before they can cause more damage. The universe doesn't wait for betrayal to act. Sometimes it preemptively clears the path so that when the new chapter begins, you don't carry the weight of unfinished business into it. But now something's shifting. You might feel it already. A soft tug in your chest, a strange urge to reach out, to speak again, to show up. You might feel yourself longing to be seen, not by everyone, but by the right ones. And that's not a setback, that's the next stage. This week, the moon begins peeling back the layer that's been covering your light. Not in a loud, dramatic burst, but in small, powerful moments. A message that hits different, a song that unlocks something, a random memory that makes you feel alive again. These aren't coincidences. These are signals, invitations to return, not to who you used to be, but to who you've quietly become. And yes, it might feel scary. You've gotten used to your cave, to the silence, to the solitude. Stepping back out might feel like waking up in a world that's moved on without you. But it hasn't. It's been waiting. You are the one who's been evolving, quietly, relentlessly. And now, life is asking you to re-enter, not as the same version of you, but as the one who survived the storm. Let me remind you, the isolation wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You weren't being forgotten. You were being fortified. So when the moon sends those subtle nudges this week, when the energy suddenly feels warmer, more open, listen. Don't ignore the craving to connect. But also, don't rush into old patterns. Not everything you left behind deserves to be revisited. Some doors are meant to stay closed, even when the hallway lights flicker. Ask yourself, what kind of connection do I truly crave now? What kind of presence do I want to share? And who do I want to be seen by? If you can answer that, you won't get swept back into the past. You'll step forward with clarity. This is your re-entry, not into the world as it was, but into the life that fits the new shape of your soul. Chapter 2. The Venus Trap. Love or Illusion. Something happens in the sky tomorrow that will feel soft, dreamy, maybe even beautiful. The moon and Venus, two of the most emotionally charged forces in astrology, will meet. And at first glance, it might seem like the universe is giving you a gift, a chance at love, a chance at warmth, a chance at something you thought you lost. But don't be fooled. This isn't a gentle blessing. This is a beautifully wrapped trap. It's easy to mistake this energy for love. It pulls at your chest like gravity. It whispers through old songs, flashes in old photos, tugs at the part of your heart that still wants to believe in what if. You might feel a deep urge to text someone from your past, revisit a fantasy you'd buried, or fall for someone new with an intensity that scares you. It'll feel magnetic, like fate. But magnets don't always pull what's good for you. Sometimes they just drag back what you haven't healed from. This isn't love. This is longing dressed in disguise. You may ask, why now? Why am I suddenly thinking about them again? Why does this old emotion feel fresh, almost alive? That's the Venus trap. It surfaces not to reward you, but to reveal you. What you're chasing isn't the person, it's the feeling, the illusion, the version of you that once felt alive next to them. And sometimes that's more dangerous than the heartbreak itself. Think of it like this. You're walking through a desert, and suddenly you see water glistening in the distance. You start running toward it, heart racing, only to realize it's a mirage. That's what this Moon-Venus energy does. It doesn't show you what is. It shows you what you hunger for. Not to give it to you, but to ask, why do you still want this so badly? Maybe someone reappears. Maybe you reawaken old feelings. But this isn't about reunion. It's about revelation. You're not being haunted by them. You're being shown your own frequency. The craving isn't theirs. It's yours. And it's speaking volumes about what still lives under your skin. You might be pulled toward an intense connection that feels romantic, urgent, even sacred. But check the roots. Is it built on truth, or is it built on the fantasy of what could have been? Are you moving toward healing, or are you trying to escape your own silence? This moment will tempt many into repeating old patterns, falling for old faces, believing in old stories. But not because those stories are meant to return, but because they're meant to be rewritten. So ask yourself, am I chasing love, or am I chasing distraction? Do I want real connection, or am I reaching for something to avoid the quiet within me? Because the moon and Venus aren't here to hand you your dream. They're here to test your growth, to show you that the real lesson isn't in what you attract, it's in what you no longer allow to pull you back. Chapter 3. The Gravitational Message. Right after the moon's mysterious dance with Venus, something even deeper begins to stir. And this time, it's not emotional romance. It's gravitational truth. On the 25th, the moon reaches its perihelion, its closest point to the sun. Then, on the 26th, it reaches perigee, its closest point to Earth. And while to astronomers this is just data, to the sensitive, the intuitive, and the spiritually aware, this is something else entirely. This is a message, not from the stars, but from the force that quietly pulls on your tides, your tears, and your truth. This is not just science, it's soul work. Have you noticed it lately? Your emotions aren't just whispering, they're gripping. You're not just thinking about old memories, you're living them again. That one song feels too sharp. That photo hits like a punch to the chest. You wake up feeling like you didn't sleep at all. Not tired, heavy. That's not random. That's not weakness. That's lunar pressure. That's gravity pressing down on the parts of you that never fully healed. You may be asking, why now? Why am I suddenly feeling things I thought were buried? Why am I crying over something that happened years ago? The answer is simple. Because you never truly let it through. You just tried to let it go. And that's the trap. Most of us think healing means walking away from our pain. But sometimes healing means walking into it, letting it rise, letting it speak. The moon isn't pulling you down. She's pulling you in. She's saying, feel this, not to drown in it, but to finally be free from it. The closer she comes, the more she peels back. You might notice strange dreams, mood swings, or even flashes of guilt or longing for people or choices you thought you were over. That's her way of bringing things full circle. She's not here to hurt you. She's here to unbury you. Think of it like a tide rolling in. You can't control the wave, but you can decide whether to fight it or float with it. Most of us resist these moments. We distract. We suppress. We say, I'm fine. But ignoring the tide doesn't stop it from rising. It just hits harder later. This week, the moon wants you to stop running. Not everything is meant to be silenced. Some wounds don't need closure. They need expression. You might feel like everything is heavier right now, like your chest has more weight than air. That's not depression. That's memory. That's energy. That's your body catching up with your spirit. Because you can't carry emotional baggage into the next season of your life. The moon knows this, so she's helping you let it bleed out. Not all at once, but slowly, intentionally. This isn't about letting go. It's about letting through. And if you allow yourself to feel what's rising, you'll come out clearer. Not because the pain disappears, but because you finally stopped pretending it wasn't there. Let the moon show you what still lives under your skin. Let her gravity guide you inward. This isn't weakness, it's transformation in motion. Chapter 5. The Hollow New Moon. May 27th delivers a new moon, but not the one you've been hoping for. This isn't the fresh start you've read about in self-help books. It doesn't come with light, clarity, or excitement. No, this one feels empty, like walking into a room that once held something sacred, only to find it stripped bare. No warmth, no comfort, just space, cold and echoing. And while that might sound disappointing, it's not a mistake. That emptiness is the message. You might ask, why does this new moon feel so off? Aren't new moons supposed to bring clarity and momentum? That's what we've been told. But this one doesn't give you answers. It gives you quiet. And in that silence, you're forced to hear things most people spend their whole lives avoiding. Energetically, you are caught in a strange pocket. Behind you is the emotional weight of the moon's close descent to Earth. Ahead of you is Jupiter, the planet of expansion and truth, rising with force. And in the middle stands you, holding a pen, staring at a blank page that refuses to speak. It feels confusing, even frustrating, like you're being asked to make a choice without knowing the options. But that's the point. This moon isn't here to tell you what to write. It's here to make sure you're the one holding the pen. No more waiting for signs. No more hoping someone will make the decision for you. The silence you feel isn't the absence of guidance. It's the pressure to create your own. Imagine being in a vast white room, no doors, no windows, just you. At first you panic. You wonder, what do I do? Where do I go? But then slowly you realize, this space isn't empty, it's waiting. It's asking you to project something real onto it. Not fantasy, not fear, but truth. That's this moon. You're not being given a roadmap this time. You're being handed a chisel, and what you choose to carve, intention, commitment, purpose, will either become your foundation or your trap. Because this moon doesn't respond to vague wishes. It doesn't listen to daydreams. It listens to alignment. Ask yourself, what am I really ready to build? What part of me needs to die so something better can live? Because when you write your intentions now, you're not making a list. You're making a vow. And here's where most people get it wrong. They think emptiness is failure. But spiritually, emptiness is sacred. It's the pause before the creation, the inhale before the scream, the quiet before the flood. This new moon is not a beginning. It's a testing ground, a place where your energy speaks louder than your words. And if you don't choose with clarity, the universe won't move. Because this isn't a wishful moon. It's a witness moon. It's watching, waiting, and only moving for those bold enough to mean what they say. Chapter 6. Jupiter's Loud Arrival. On May 28th, everything that felt silent suddenly starts to roar. The moon meets Jupiter in the sky, and it's not a soft meeting. It's a collision, an explosion of truth that breaks through the stillness like thunder after too much quiet. If the days leading up to this felt like you were walking on eggshells, today will feel like someone smashed the floor open beneath you. Jupiter doesn't ask questions. It doesn't nudge. It arrives like a giant kicking down the door to a room you've been hiding in, yelling, "Enough pretending. Look at this." And what is this? It's everything you've been avoiding. All the feelings you locked in the basement, all the truths you dressed up as excuses. They're not hidden anymore. Jupiter lights them up like fireworks in the middle of the night. You might wonder, why now? Why all at once? Why does it feel like I'm being forced to face everything I'm not ready for? The answer is simple, because readiness is a myth. Growth rarely waits for permission. And this moment isn't about comfort, it's about confrontation. If you've been bottling up emotions, rage, grief, regret, desire, they won't stay quiet anymore. They'll rise fast, sharp, wild, like a dam bursting without warning. You could find yourself saying things you didn't plan to say, feeling things stronger than you've felt in months, breaking into tears without knowing why. That's not weakness, that's release. Think of Jupiter like a cosmic amplifier. Whatever's been in the background of your spirit, quiet fears, forgotten dreams, hidden pain, gets turned up to full volume. It's like the universe suddenly grabs your face and says, "Feel this, now." And while that might sound terrifying, it's also freeing. Because what you feel, you can finally heal. But here's the hard part. Not all expansion feels like elevation. Sometimes growth is painful. Sometimes the way forward feels like falling. And Jupiter, it doesn't care how you feel about it. It only cares about whether you're real about it. You might feel torn, 1 minute inspired, the next minute broken. 1 minute empowered, the next minute unsure if you're falling apart. That's okay. That's what transformation feels like when it's real, when it's not curated or aesthetic, but alive and uncontrolled. Ask yourself, what truth have I been afraid to admit? What emotion have I been too scared to feel? What decision have I been postponing because it might hurt? Because today you won't be able to run from those answers anymore. This is your final push before June reshapes everything. If the last few weeks felt like spiritual training, this is the test. The moment where everything you've learned, felt, and endured gets put to work. And the choice is yours. Do you break down or break through? Just know this. Jupiter doesn't bring mess without meaning. Every eruption is clearing space. Every truth that explodes is freeing a part of you that's been trapped. So let it come, let it roar, because on the other side of this loud, uncomfortable arrival is clarity, and clarity doesn't whisper, it shouts. Chapter 7. The Psychic Detox. Between May 25th and 27th, something strange begins to happen. And no, it's not just up there in the sky. It's happening inside you. This isn't just the moon drifting closer to the Earth, reaching its perihelion and perigee. This is a psychic cleanse, a deep spiritual purge that moves through your body, your emotions, your sleep, your thoughts. And if you're sensitive, even slightly aware, you'll feel it. Hard. You might wake up in the middle of the night, 2:22, 3:33 a.m., sitting straight up like someone whispered your name. You might feel dizzy or disconnected, even when you've been drinking water, resting, doing all the right things. You may feel pressure in your chest, your ears ringing, your thoughts racing. You might even ask yourself, am I getting sick? Am I losing it? No, you're not sick. You're shedding. This is energetic detox. Your spirit is releasing what your mind didn't even know you were still holding. Old attachments, old pain, old timelines you never fully stepped out of. Think of it like your soul is sweating, purging what can't go with you into June. You've probably heard the phrase, the body keeps the score. Well, so does your energy field. Everything you ignored, everything you buried, everything you tried to move past without fully facing, it's still there. This week, the moon acts like a cosmic sponge, wringing those forgotten emotions out of your system drop by drop. It's not always graceful, it's not always peaceful, but it's necessary. You might ask, why now? Why does everything feel off when I've been trying so hard to be okay? Because timing is everything, and the closer the moon gets, the more it presses on the parts of you that still need your attention. It's like a spiritual chiropractor, realigning what's been out of place, even if you didn't know it. And here's where it gets even more bizarre. Just when you start to feel the pressure easing, something flips. Your emotions shift direction. What felt certain days ago suddenly feels wrong. What you wanted yesterday, you're now pulling away from, and what you swore you didn't need. It's all you can think about now. You're not broken, you're reversing. Your emotional compass is being recalibrated. The moon didn't just stir your past, it stirred your present, and now your instincts are updating in real time. You might wonder, why do I feel like a completely different version of myself overnight? Because you are. This detox didn't just pull toxins from your energy, it pulled identities, attachments, illusions. It's like standing in front of a mirror after a long shower and realizing the fog was never on the glass. It was in your own eyes. This isn't confusion, it's correction. You are not being punished. You are being purified. The moon is clearing space, not just in your calendar, not just in your relationships, but in your field, so don't panic. Observe, breathe, let it pass through. Because what's being removed now is everything that would have slowed you down later, and June won't wait for the old version of you to catch up. Chapter 8. The final twist before June. As the end of May creeps in, things start to feel strange, not loud, not dramatic, just off. The emotional air feels heavier, people act different, conversations feel disjointed. Ghosts of old connections begin to stir, and just when you think you're regaining your rhythm, something slips through the cracks. Subtle, slight, but powerful enough to change everything. You might start noticing it in your relationships first. Someone who was consistent suddenly goes quiet. Someone you haven't heard from in months suddenly watches your story or sends a one-word message. A person you trusted flakes without warning, or someone spills way too much too fast. It might feel personal. You might ask, did I do something wrong? Did something shift between us? But here's the truth. It's not you, it's the frequency. Everyone's energy is recalibrating, fast. And because most people don't know how to handle spiritual turbulence, they act weird. They ghost. They overshare. They contradict themselves. They cancel last minute. They lean in, then pull back. And while it feels confusing, even frustrating, it's not chaos. It's adjustment. The universe is updating people's internal GPS systems, and just like a phone glitching during a software update, humans do the same. Their identity, desires, and intuition are being restructured. So when someone acts off, it's not necessarily fake behavior. It's just misaligned behavior. Their soul is trying to reroute in real time, and sometimes that reroute spills all over you. You may ask, but if everyone's going through this, does that mean I just accept bad behavior? No, you accept the truth behind the behavior. You understand it, but you don't have to tolerate it. This week is less about reacting, more about observing. Pay close attention to who breaks down under pressure and who breaks open. Watch who pulls away and who pushes through the discomfort to stay close. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. From May 28th to 30th, the moon drops what I call its final twist, and it won't come with a warning label. It won't be fireworks or lightning bolts. It will be subtle, quiet, even forgettable at first. A dream that clings to your mind like déjà vu, a message you almost delete, a moment of silence that feels louder than anything they've ever said to you. You might feel something click, like a puzzle piece from weeks ago suddenly locking into place. And what once made no sense now glows with meaning. The decision you were unsure about becomes painfully clear. The thing you kept postponing now feels urgent. The person you couldn't read suddenly becomes transparent, not because they changed, but because you did. This is the moment where the universe whispers, "Did you catch that?" Because if you blink, you'll miss it. The final twist isn't here to shake your world. It's here to reveal the blueprint that's been hiding underneath all along. The same thread you ignored earlier in May. It was never random. It's the key to unlocking June's direction. Think of it like a detective novel. You've been reading the clues all month, the symbols, the feelings, the people entering and exiting your field. And now, right before the chapter ends, the author drops a line that makes everything you've seen suddenly fall into place. That's the energy of these final days. A soft revelation, but only for those who've been paying attention. You may be tempted to brush it off, to stay distracted, to assume that since nothing big happened, nothing important happened. But that's the trap. The most meaningful shifts don't announce themselves. They slip in, quietly, precisely, perfectly timed. This is the moon's final act before handing you over to June, and if you're not listening, you'll walk right past the clue that would have changed your whole path. So sit with the strange feelings, the emotional reversals, the awkward interactions. Don't rush to label them. Don't try to fix them. Observe, because somewhere in that discomfort is the truth you've been asking for. And when you finally see it, you'll understand this wasn't the end. It was the reveal, and the moment it clicks, the story of your next chapter begins. In conclusion, this week isn't random. It's a cosmic checkpoint. The silence, the emotional reversals, the strange behavior from others. It's all part of the final test before June begins rewriting your path. Don't ignore the signs. Pay attention to the subtle shifts. They're louder than they seem. If this message resonated with you, comment the number 77 below to lock in your awareness and show the universe you're awake and ready. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it before the twist arrives. The shift has already started. Stay present, stay grounded, stay listening.